What is up, YouTube community? We are so excited about what you are getting ready to watch in this segment. I don't even know if it's legal to put this much fantasy content into one episode, but we're doing it and we're going to see if we get away with it. Check this out. This is what we're going to be breaking down and bringing you in this segment. We're going to be talking about James Conner, Dalvin Cook, Todd Gurley, Damien Williams, Leonard Fournette, David Johnson, and also we do have love for other positions than the running back. We're going to be talking about some quarterbacks as well. We're taking time to cover Kyler Murray and that air raid offense. We're taking time to talk about Jameis Winston in that Bruce Arians offense. And we're also looking at our boy Baker Mayfield, or let's just say my boy, I guess, fine. My boy Baker Mayfield, and of course the Cleveland Browns offense. Going to spend some time on who might be the buzziest name out there, and that is Mr. Chris Godwin. We're going to take a look at him, let you know if we feel that he's still worth drafting at his current ADP. Another question we want to ask you guys on is, how do you feel about Odell Beckham Jr.? Do you have some kind of strong opinion on that? Because I can tell you this, the WAP certainly does. You're not going to want to miss that. Speaking of strong opinions, the WAP clearly has some strong opinions about our boy Andrew Luck and his retirement. Give you a teaser. All I can say is that when it comes to the WAP and Andrew Luck, I think the WAP and Doug Gottlieb will get along fabulously. What? We are also going to spend some time talking about Kenyon Drake and Kalen Ballage. Obviously, Kenyon Drake just returned back to practice. So we're going to let you know what to do with that backfield and essentially if it's even worth your time at all. We spend a little bit of time talking about Jordan Reed. WAP also has some strong opinions and some, let's just call it advice for Mr. Jordan Reed. If all of that wasn't enough to get you excited, we brought in help. We're joined by the legendary Frank the Tank. I don't know how we fit it all in here. I don't know how we did it, but we did, and I feel that you guys are really going to enjoy it. So I'm going to stop talking. Guys, remember, please make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you tap that bell to make sure that you are notified of all the fresh content that the two bald a-holes will be bringing you. So enjoy the show. We'll see you guys soon.
And here we go.
Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Sound insane.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
I told you and I told you. Touchdown.
Man, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You surprised me. I thought you were going to be awful, but you were dreadful.
Championship.
Touch on some of the other news from the weekend. We covered, I would assume, the biggest news, of course, Andrew Luck, Lamar Miller, but there was plenty of other things happening over the weekend, preseason week 3, including, so we're going to start it was the game, I believe, between the 49ers and the Chiefs. Our boy Jimmy G actually had a good night. He completed 70% of his passes for 188 yards and a touchdown. You know, it was against the Chiefs defense. If their defense was anything like it was last year, I'm pretty sure any one of us could have thrown for 188, probably 2 touchdowns. But one, you know, it's not a bad night. Not a bad night. Jimmy G currently going as the 21st quarterback. You know, thoughts on whether or not you feel that Jimmy is he potentially a value? I mean, going 20. I mean, he had 21st quarterback. He's in that Shanahan offense. Appears to have some weapons around him. We talked a little bit about Tevin Coleman, how much we like him. So what are your thoughts on Jimmy G?
Jimmy G last year was the talk of the town. He got that monster contract. He was going to join Shanahan, had some weapons, blah, blah, blah. And he was probably going somewhere around, what, quarterback 12 to 15?
Somewhere
and now all of a
yeah.
sudden he's all the way down to 21. So for me, it's another overreaction to a bad preseason. He threw 5 picks in a row or something in practice.
Yeah.
And people are, oh my God, it's terrible. Bottom line is none of that means anything, in my opinion, nothing. This is a really good third preseason game, 188, completed 70% of his passes. To me, Shanahan's the key here. Belichick wanted Garoppolo to stay in New England. They gave him all that money. The guys that do that, he's a talent. He's obviously a talent. He's a winner. He obviously has won a lot of games. So for me, 21 is his floor. If everything goes wrong, he'll be the 21st. His upside is Baker Mayfield. So for me, I like Garoppolo where he's going. I think it's a total no-brainer. You take him as your number 2. You take a risk with your first one, like with a Lamar or Kyler Murray, and then you take him. And to me, you're laughing all the way to the bank.
Well, that's interesting because that would be essentially you're waiting on quarterback.
Yep.
But you're going to grab. You're saying you wait, but then you try to team up a Jimmy G with the Lamar, maybe Josh Allen, one of those types of guys. I mean, even like a Breeze is going in the 8th, Cam going in the 8th round. So
yeah, Cousins. I mean, there's a lot of guys. You can Big Ben. You can pair him up with one of those guys, and if he hits, you're in good shape. You got 2 really worthy guys.
Tank, obviously, judging by your jersey, we know that you're a lifelong 49ers fan.
That's true. That's true. I was waiting for you to get to me. I have a lot to say about
well, I know you do because you follow your Niners. Same way Bob follows his Dolphins.
I am personally disgusted by Jimmy G's game. His value has gotten so low. QB 21, I'm not personally seeing that. And maybe that's what you have here on the Fantasy Football Calculator. But I've been doing a lot of best ball drafts and stuff, 12 teams, PPR. And Jimmy G's more around, I hate to say it, QB 25 or even later. Like, there's almost no one. There's almost no one left.
Yeah, right. That's where I thought he was going with it.
I don't get it.
Keenum's there, Flacco's there. Those kinds of names. Dalton, Fitzmagic.
No,
Foles, and then there's pretty much Jimmy G's next.
Wow.
So I'm disgusted by his good game. This might have woken some people up that were sleeping on the 49ers offense.
Yeah, it's true.
They did bring in a good running back in Tevin Coleman. We talked about him before. Pettis is, another one. They're kind of talking him down, saying he needs to earn his role, but he's their number 1. Great hands, fast. They brought in Deebo Samuel in the draft. He's going to be lining up everywhere. Then I didn't even mention their best player from last year, George Kittle. So the weapons are all around him. He does have a great offensive mind, pulling the trigger. And I'm pretty disgusted by Jimmy G having a nice breakout game the other night.
All right,
I was hoping to steal him.
I see. We see what you're up to now.
Yes.
We see what you're up to now.
Yes.
He was.
I got game clean.
Well, here's the good news. According to Fantasy Football Calculator, his ADP has not risen too much. I mean, he's 14th round. And here are the 4 quarterbacks that are being drafted that are going after him. Trubisky, Sam Darnold. No, I'm sorry. Actually,
Trubisky went in front of him.
Yep. So Sam Darnold, Stafford, and Carr.
Yeah, I'm seeing Garoppolo go after all 3 of those players most of the time in a lot of the best balls that I've been doing.
Well, again, I mean, this game was just Saturday night. So that his good game against the Chiefs has probably, upped his ADP.
Moved him up a little bit. Yeah.
Right, but not...
But this is
nothing
this
under
is
control.
where
I
he's
mean,
at. He's like the bottom group of.
Okay, but you're still getting them at nothing, obviously, as a cost.
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to play a little Would You Rather here. Derek Carr or Jimmy G?
Jimmy G, but it's close. I think Derek Carr is underrated too with Gruden.
Yeah,
I agree.
Bringing in Antonio Brown.
That's close.
And Tyrell Williams.
Right. Who's been flashing in camp? And, obviously, right.
He looked okay with Cooper.
Can I say I want them both?
Yeah.
You can.
Okay.
You can team those 2 up. There you go. Even Stafford,
as a 2 and a 3,
maybe the hate's gone too far on him as well. I mean, based off of the fact that supposedly he had this injury last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
his years in a row of consistency, 4,000-yard seasons and all that was just... And then he had one bad year, and the overreaction. That's fantasy football.
Absolutely.
Everybody overreacts.
With
now Stafford's a bum.
Yeah.
So Stafford's a bum. They're going to run the ball. Trubisky wants to run the ball. It's like, okay, but... I mean, you got to throw the ball in the NFL.
You have to throw the ball.
I don't know what happened last year with Detroit. They faded bad.
Yeah, but he was hurt.
Stafford fell off a cliff last year.
He supposedly was hurt.
Or something.
But then here's the other thing that, whenever you
He's
hear...
a warrior. Stafford has proven to be a warrior.
Yeah, unlike Angela.
You have a very big mouth, sir.
There's a component that needs to be in place for a team.
Set you up on that one.
For a team to want to run the ball.
Right.
As you have to have a good defense.
Yeah.
You have to have game scripts, and you have to, be able to have that option. So, because when you're down 17-0, go ahead, you can want to run the ball all you want. You still have to pass. All right, so obviously Jimmy G though.
We like it.
Yeah, we
like him.
We like him. Great value. Good value.
All right, so another bit of development over the weekend is we talked about him just recently. That's Damian Williams comes out in that same game, obviously Niners versus Chiefs. And Damian Williams had a 62-yard reception. Looked good. I mean, look, it's one play. We've seen this before. One big play doesn't necessarily change too much. I think more importantly, though, is that he clearly seemed to be the lead back. They had him in for a couple series. They pull him. That's usually the sign that that's it. I mean, he's a starter. He got a little bit of work, and obviously they got him out of there. So we already liked him at his current ADP of end of the second round. Even after that game and his big 62-yard reception, that's where he's staying. So we're all still in agreement. We like Damien Williams there at the end of the second round.
Another development that I'm also disgusted about, Damien Williams has done absolutely nothing in the preseason.
Frank's got a lot of anger. I think
he was dropping in ADP considerably that I've noted. Going in as late as the mid-third to the early fourth.
What?
People were stealing him that late.
In these best
Those
ball?
days are over, all because of one play.
That's the way it works.
This seems to happen every year where there's a few people I'm high on and they're very quiet. It's very quiet, and then all of a sudden, boom, one big thing happens.
One big thing,
and then everyone gets reminded of the potential.
He was
in that offense.
Who was the Giants running back?
Oh,
Your
the one
boy.
who
He had like
broke his neck.
He had like the 80-yard touchdown in preseason. I mean,
I'll think of it. I need
David something. You remember that guy?
David, yes. I know what you're talking about. He lasted 2 seasons and he had to retire.
Right. But like, yeah.
But he wasn't a quitter.
He went for like.
He wasn't a quitter.
He wasn't a quitter.
You guys suck.
Through that broken neck.
He played through that.
He took that wheelchair and got out on the field.
Oh my goodness.
Too much, too far? I don't know.
Too soon.
All right. We threw out this scenario the other night when we were breaking out Damian Williams, and now the current ADP literally lines up that out of the one spot you could go Barkley, Damian Williams, Fournette. So we talked about the fact that if all three of those guys stay healthy, and both Williams and Fournette, I mean, Fournette's going to hit essentially if he's healthy, just due to volume.
Yeah.
So
I'm
just saying that you look at that start. Even right now, you can start the draft: Barkley, Williams, Fournette, Galladay, and Hilton out of the
Now
five.
this isn't a mock, right? This is just an ADP.
It's just an ADP
draft.
Just an ADP.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
so if someone were drafting at the one
it's somewhat
spot,
realistic that somebody from the one could start with those three.
And they ruined Barkley, Damian Williams with Fournette.
Yeah, I would.
They were given an opportunity there, and they blew it.
Yeah, 100% agree.
I go Mahomes there.
Yeah,
exactly.
No,
Something. I'm serious.
100%.
Mahomes,
Take
Carson, Aaron Jones,
Freeman?
Josh Jacobs, anybody but Fournette.
I would take Mahomes.
Anybody
Very
but
rarely
Fournette.
would I take Mahomes. But you take Mahomes with that kind of start.
Okay, but wait a minute.
And it's game
It's
over.
insane.
All right. We're gonna play. We'll play a little game here.
Okay.
Let's say it's guaranteed that Fournette's gonna play 14 games.
Well, where's that guarantee though?
I'm just saying, if you knew that Fournette was going to play 14 games,
wouldn't be going
you
there.
taking any of those guys?
He'd be going on the end of the first, early second if he was going to play 14 games.
What I'm saying is
But why would you
to make a
Frank's saying, why would you take the risk? You already got 2 gifts. My point is, why not just take a sure thing there and then just...
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you got Barkley. You're saying you have Barkley Williams, so why not take a sure thing?
Take a great
Take
receiver.
Kittle. I mean, Kittle's there at that point. Ertz is there at that point.
Mahomes, yeah. My point isn't that Fournette in the third round, if you started receiver, and you got to get a guy with upside, yeah, well, maybe you have to take that risk. But my only point was addressing the Barkley Damian Williams start. There is no reason if you start out with 2 running backs
You already have the best pair of running backs in the league. Why go a third one anyway?
And then risk a donut there. Yeah, you could play. People play to win, but I'm feeling like I'm in the driver's seat now. I have the best start of the league. They let me get Damian to pair with Barkley. Now I just got to play defense.
Yeah,
I got to draft really good people.
We're not going to let him. One, we're not going to let him get the 1, and 2, if he does, we'll play defense.
The 1. Oh my god! I don't know how that would happen.
All right, so another guy that's another running back, obviously, that had a nice night, but mainly due to one big play, and that is Dalvin Cook, running back, Minnesota Vikings. 85-yard run for a touchdown. Looked great. Again, it's one play, but I guess, as football fans, fantasy fans, it doesn't change. When you have a guy like Dalvin Cook that you had the concerns with the injuries, this and that, you just want to see that that's still there, that potential for a big play and the burst, everything seemed to be there. So it hasn't really done anything to change his ADP. He's still going, right there at the early second round. Sorry, My question is, Dalvin Cook right now is going after Todd Gurley. What do you guys think about that? Would you take Gurley or Cook?
Well, I think there's concerns with both of them with injuries, and if you're going to go with one of them, go with the guy that's been the MVP basically for 2 straight seasons for fantasy owners, who basically is like a lock for 15 to 20 touchdowns if he plays 14 or more games. So Dalvin Cook has got tremendous upside, but we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen him last through the season.
We've seen flashes. His rookie year, his first 2 games were really good.
Yeah.
Came out of the his rookie season and just blew it up for a few weeks. So we've seen the flashes for Cook. But they have said, when you have ACLs and problems like that, it's usually year 2 when it's time for them to shine.
I know Lat Murray.
No Latavius Murray, that's huge. They do love this rookie that they have in there. They got, what are you going to say? This rookie that we brought in, he's garbage. Of course they're going to be talking him up.
No, he's looked good though. He's looked good. I've watched some of the preseason.
I saw Cook's run. Really nice vision on the play. He came flying through the hole, and you would think a lot of backs would have kicked it outside. He found a little crease there between 2 defenders. Mm-hmm. He got past them, and it was off to the races. Mm-hmm. Really impressive play. It's nice to see he's got the breakaway speed back. I'm encouraged by what I saw. Seeing that play, like he looks like he's back.
Yeah, and I think that the Vikings brought in a new offense coordinator, and we're basically Zimmer told him, run the ball. I want to run the ball.
Absolutely.
I want to play defense. I don't want to throw as much as we did. And you got to love that. If you have the lead back and you just lost a veteran that used to take a lot of his carries, I don't know if this guy, Madison's going to take the goal lines. That would suck. He's not a huge back, 5'10", 210. But goal lines, people act like goal lines are a very big deal. When a McCaffrey gets talked about losing his goal lines, that takes away potentially 6 of his touchdowns if they would have pulled him on the goal line.
Yep.
So if Dalvin Cook is not a goal line guy, then you need these types of breakaway, which he has the ability, but it's not going to happen week to week. Goal lines are week to week.
So you mentioned Cook after Gurley. You have some concern there? You feel like Cook is safer, and maybe Gurley should fall a little farther? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if I had to choose between the 2, yeah, Cook.
Really?
I honestly think
he can't have it all to himself. I think it's pretty clear Gurley won't in some level.
Gurley, I think here's going to be the big thing with Gurley is that even if he maintains at least if he's somewhat healthy enough to play, it's going to be the frustration of the weekly injury report.
What do I do?
And what do I do? And and all of that. I mean, I don't want that.
They're after a Super Bowl this year. They felt like they were robbed of their chance last year.
Right.
Similar like in baseball, we see teams babying pitchers because we're going to make the playoffs. We need him for game 1 of the playoffs.
Playoffs?
So I'm sure I could see the Rams handling Gurley in a similar fashion where they're kind of like making sure he's good every week and keeping him going through the season because they want to be hitting on all cylinders, unlike last year,
right?
Where they didn't have Kupp and they lost him pretty much. CJ came in and did a great job, but he's not as dynamic as Gurley. So I think they're gonna baby him a lot.
Here's to me another nice thing about.
I don't know if I'd take Cook over him, but I could see it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, another reason for me that I like Cook is that we mentioned Madison, right? Cook's the guy. Cook's the guy. He's the guy. 100%. You have the guy. You have the one. But if you want to make sure you have his cuff because you are worried about the injuries,
he's
like
cheap.
you are with Gurley,
Madison's cheap.
Madison's going in the 12th round. Mm-hmm. You have to. The Henderson's going in the 8th. I mean, I guess essentially you can grab Malcolm Brown. Has he even crept in?
I saw him.
There he is in the 14th.
14th.
But again, I mean, you're worried enough about the Henderson thing to say, okay, maybe that is more of a 3-down or a 3-headed backfield than in Minnesota where it's Cook and it should be Madison should something happen to Cook from what we've seen. My thing, look, I'm looking at it like this. Running back is incredibly thin. We know the cliff that happens to running backs, right around the, I think, 5th round or something like that. So I would even say that in a half-point PPR, I'd take Cook over Michael Thomas right now. His ADP is the 12th pick. And, I mean, would you rather have Dalvin Cook or Michael Thomas in a half-point PPR?
You can get receivers later. It's hard to get a dominant. But the risk with Michael Thomas is almost nil.
Right. Well, it's
the risk with Cook is very high, in my opinion, because we have to see it. Show us one time. Gurley's shown us multiple times. My thing with Cook versus Gurley, just because they're the same position, is that Gurley's lost a couple offensive linemen. Belichick exposed that team. And I don't know, this is the NFL is a copycat thing. Everybody's watching the Super Bowl over and over and over. What did Belichick learn that shut them down? They scored, 3 points?
Yeah.
It was embarrassing because the Patriots don't have a dominant defense.
Okay, but
I think that Gurley, with his injury concerns, the fact that they're a West Coast team playing at 4 o'clock most weeks, every week you're going to hear questionable. We'll find out at pregame. We're going to see how he looks on the field. So now you're going to have
game time decision
ready.
Or you wasting 3 roster spots on Malcolm Brown and Henderson.
Right. Yeah,
that's another
backfield.
But it's so hard to get his backup because everybody wants this kid Henderson. He's so hyped. He's way overhyped. Look at his ADP.
Yep.
He's going ahead of way too many people that he shouldn't be going. So the bottom line is, it's almost impossible to handcuff him to Henderson. You may say, well, it's Malcolm Brown. It's John. There's another guy that's supposedly ahead of Malcolm Brown. They just said the other day.
Wow.
Joe Kelly?
Joe Kelly, they say, may be ahead of him. So the bottom line is, you don't really know between those two as far as the
So it's a mess. It's a giant mess altogether. Right. So you take Gurley, you don't even know what you can do to have insurance.
If you're risk averse, then it's probably a situation to avoid.
Right.
Todd Gurley.
Well, and so the thing is, how are you not risk averse in that spot? Well, I guess fine. You go Julio, you go Michael Thomas.
Well, at running back, how are you not risk averse?
We know you're still your RB1 is still high, has high risk, and that's not what you want. So it's just. But I look, Cook and Mixon are the 2 guys going after him, and you're right. There's certainly risk with those guys as well. So, to me,
I think I like Mixon and Cook better more than Gurley. I'm with you there.
Mixon and Cook over Gurley. It's so tough with Todd Gurley because of what we know he can be. It's like, dude.
Or what he has been. Yeah.
Right. Well, right. Absolutely. I mean, there's some starts you're looking at. You are saying to yourself, hey, I could start a draft off with Julio and Gurley, and if Gurley hits, and absolutely.
Sure.
All right. So I guess we'd all say that we agree that we like Dalvin Cook where he's at.
What's his current ADP?
Take your
pick 4, round 2.
Yeah, you get a level of him. Yeah.
So I
think by the time people draft this upcoming weekend, Labor Day weekend, he'll be right at that wheel.
So I think it's a good question for the viewers. Then, who would you take if you were drafting this weekend? You're taking Dalvin Cook. You're taking Todd Gurley. I don't think we have more running backs to talk about, but we can talk about a quarterback and a young rookie quarterback. That's Kyler Murray. Had a nice bounce back game. Obviously, preseason game 2 was not as scripted
compared to what he's been doing. It's a huge bounce back. Similar to Garoppolo. Yeah.
Well, his first preseason game was okay, but I mean, I guess that's everybody plays well in their first preseason game. But Kyler Murray faced off against the Vikings. He completed 67% of his passes for 137 yards. He looked okay. We talked a little bit about this already. The word is supposedly that we're not seeing the offense. We're not seeing the offense. They don't want to show anything. The coach isn't going to show his hand. We kind of talked about the fact that, don't you want to practice your supposed, you want to practice your real offense up against some real opponents?
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Maybe they're not. Maybe he's confident that they can do it all in practice and then roll it out there week 1. Either way, though, not a bad, obviously game for the kid. The hype on him, I think, after that second preseason game, luckily it corrected itself, and potentially
it was getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah, right. Now he's back in that area where he is a potential. I guess we could say lotto ticket, right? Well, I mean, almost lotto ticket, just because of the running ability. I mean, he's going in the same route right now as Lamar Jackson. So you could,
and Jameis Winston,
even in a 2 QB league or a super flex type thing, you could hold off on quarterback and possibly come out with Murray and Lamar Jackson, or let's say Murray and Jameis Winston,
Murray and Phillip Rivers, whatever,
Josh Allen.
Yeah,
I mean, think about the Russian, the Russian yards and things like that. So
a lot of options.
Kyler Murray, thoughts? Are we okay? 10th round? Anything you guys want to add? Any insights on Kyler?
I think that's about right. When I look at the Cardinals, we've got Kingsbury coming in here. A lot of talk about him and how gifted he is with offense and everything. He knows Murray. Obviously, they came over here together.
From Texas Tech, right?
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yes. Yeah, Murray played after Baker.
Right. But so yeah, they did.
They didn't.
But they have a
Kingsbury
history.
didn't coach him. They just ran the same. He ran the same offense that
Sorry.
they did.
Okay. So when
I was
I look at the team, though, they have David Johnson, 2 years removed, I think, or was it 3, from the highest fantasy season ever?
It seems like forever.
It does. We have Larry Fitzgerald, the consummate pro, great hands.
We love Larry
leader.
around here.
We love Larry.
Oh my God.
Nothing can take you away from me.
We love Christian Kirk.
He's a
I think
true.
we're a
That's a
fan.
competitor.
I think we're a fan.
competitor. He would
They
never
drafted
quit.
the 2 rookies, Isabella and Keyshawn Johnson. So they have some youth there, backing up the receivers, and they have Seals Jones, a potential big play tight end.
No, they don't.
But no, he's got a lot of talent around him. They don't.
I think they even have Clay.
They have Charles Clay. That's true.
His mom calls him Clay. I'll call
But
him.
His mama named him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay. Mm-hmm. That's right.
what I'm saying is he's got a good veteran presence around him. I don't think they have much of a defense. They're going to be playing catch up a lot. Murray's one of those running quarterbacks. I think round 10 is probably about right. I think he belongs with Lamar and Jameis, pretty much in that round. And there's potential upside there, even at that spot.
I love the Kyler Murray and Kirk Fitz DJ. I think if you're betting, it's a good bet, especially if you were conservative earlier on and you took like a veteran quarterback, where, like you said, pair him with another gamble. One of the gambles will work. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Jimmy Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield,
Darnold. There's a lot.
Most of those guys are probably going to be pretty good. I mean, I don't think you're going to miss if you get two of them. So you can go that route with two guys with a lot of upside and hope they both hit. But I think this kid has got insane talent. That's what we know. He has insane talent. He could have played baseball, and he's just an athlete. So I think the upside is worth the 10th round for sure.
Right now, did you figure out the Giants guy yet? David. What was his name? David something. Maybe the viewers will
We'll kick in.
We'll let us know at some point. All right, let's talk about another quarterback that
David Wilson.
Is it David Wilson? That's it. Right there.
David
Wilson.
Wilson.
Preseason, bust off the 80. Yep, remember?
He had like 160 yards rushing on 3 plays.
And all of a sudden,
and I took him in the second round, and he didn't play one down. It's awesome. I'm notorious for that.
All right, so another quarterback that is a guy I think that's had some buzz around him due to the fact that he is due to or supposed to be in what is going to be a very potent high-scoring offense. Bruce Arians' offensive system. That's Jameis Winston, quarterback, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not the best night for Winston or the Buccaneers in general, to put it lightly. I'm trying to keep it positive around here.
Sure.
Rough night. He had a night to forget. 47% completion rate, 5 sacks. Talk about offensive line, maybe just decided not to show up. Obviously, similar to Arizona in the situation there, you're still excited about this offense. You're still excited about the offensive players that are in it. I want to focus more on the skill position players in this offense first, because I think they're maybe the more buzzier names right now. Probably the buzziest name of the bunch, wide receiver Chris Godwin. He has seen his ADP rise all the way up to right about middle of the 4th round. Wow. What do you guys think? Do you like that? Are you feeling good about Godwin at that price?
Well, it really comes down to the Tampa offense. If they don't, Winston lost the job to Fitzmagic like 2 or 3 times last year. He's a nightmare. He makes so many mistakes, not just on the field but off the field. He grabs some Uber driver, and he's not exactly a model citizen. He had problems at Florida State or something.
Some chicken or something.
He stole lobster.
He stole lobster. That's right. It was lobster.
He's got major character issues. He's got major accuracy issues. He's got major.
Man's got to eat seafood.
Where he throws the ball, his decision making is horrible. The offensive line is horrible. The running game is pretty bad. So you got 3 guys going in like the first 6 rounds between Evans, Godwin, and Howard.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, people are, I think, forgetting that there's got to be a guy to throw them the ball. So they're all very talented, and we love Arians, but Arians had David Johnson to keep defenses honest. Who the hell's keeping defenses honest?
I was going to say that.
With Peyton Barber and swollen knee Ronald Jones, who's who's totally maybe a bust at this point. It's not a little early, but it looks like he may be a bust. So the bottom line is Winston is not a talent like Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. Winston is a guy who is just last man standing, and Arians is stuck with him, and he's got to make it work. If he collapses, the offensive line collapses, the running game doesn't keep him offense, this whole offense is a disaster. So Arians cannot just make an offense great. He needs the pieces. He needs something. And I am very worried about this whole offense, to be honest with you. He's going to have to throw all 4 quarters. The defense stinks. So that's good. You always want passing people on an offense that's always throwing. But I'm very worried about Winston. The only thing that makes me somewhat positive is those 3 receivers, including Howard and Arians. But you got to be very worried. I'm more worried about this team than anyone we've talked about.
I'm loving Winston's stat line from the other night. Winston, I read something about Winston that in his starts, I think he has like the highest percentage of 300-yard games in his starts.
They throw.
Because like Jimmy said, all they do is throw. So, Winston's not a guy that you're going to watch him play and be like, oh my God, this guy's so amazing. He looks like Aaron Rodgers out there. You're never going to be saying that. But it's probably a guy that if you draft him, don't watch him, and then look at the 340 yards and, 3 touchdowns he has at the end of the game.
And 3 picks.
And 3 picks. Yes, because it's not going to be pretty.
If not going to be pretty. Picks are -2, be very careful.
He runs a little bit, but I don't think. I think their defense is on the average side. I am concerned about their running backs. Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones have shown very little. There's no sexy rookie that may emerge there. So they are very one-dimensional. Yeah, am I excited about the physical abilities of Evans and Godwin and Howard? Absolutely. I think by default Winston will be good, but it won't be pretty.
The one thing I'm wondering though is, and maybe again I don't know the history of all of his offenses and how many of them had a solidified running game. But my concern probably is that does his offense work if the defense can play that, so to say, can take that away because there's no threat of a running game. And I don't think that Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones is and a bad offensive line qualifies as a threat of a running game. But obviously you laid out some good points as well. Their defense is horrible, so they will be throwing a lot. All right, so Winston, let's just quickly touch on him.
He was in the 10th with Kyler and Lamar.
Right. Okay. So 10th round. He's got.
It's about right. It's about right. Who's after him? What do you got after? Who's
Brady,
going after him?
Big Ben, and Phillip Rivers, the old guys.
Yeah,
they should all go ahead of him.
Old but steady.
I
think Rivers and Ben belong ahead of
Rivers
Winston.
and Ben are safer picks.
And even Dak. Dak gets no love. I mean, he's about as steady as they come, right? Finishes.
Josh Allen.
Somewhere.
Josh Allen was this close to winning a ring.
I'm worried about Big Ben without Antonio Brown.
You son of a bitch. It's too soon.
Finishing up on Winston, you can't put 8 in the box because you're not worried about the running game when you have Evans, Godwin, and O.J. Howard. You just can't. You need to double cover Evans.
Right.
You need to put some guys on Howard and Godwin. You better put a damn good corner on him. So you just can't. So hopefully Arians is able to maximize him and minimize the interceptions. If you're in a league that doesn't have interceptions as negative points, then Winston is probably one of the better values. But if you have heavy penalized like -2 for every pick, he's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to throw a lot of picks. He just does that. He just doesn't know how not to throw.
That's what he does. That's what the man does.
That's what
he learned from Fitzmagic, so he knows the INTs well.
I do want to just quickly ask. So Godwin, 4th round. Like it? Don't like it?
That's about right.
I like it.
You like it? Like it in the 4th round?
The upside is a little bit.
I just think he's been such a buzzy.
The upside is a little bit kind of negated now at this point.
Yeah, he's pretty much at his ceiling, I would think.
Right. I mean, could he be this year's Juju, for example? Yeah. 4th, 5th round pick this year that vaults into the 2nd round. Yeah, I think that could easily happen with him. But then again, he's not the number 1.
Yeah. They say Mike Evans is still come off the field. They say he's unbelievable.
Yeah, 100 catches. We'll see.
We'll see.
He's going before Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, I mean,
you like that?
Well, Tampa's throwing. Seattle's running.
Tampa's going to be throwing.
Seattle's
going to play defense and run the ball. So I want a guy on a pass-happy offense.
So yeah.
All right. So we like Pete
Carroll versus Arians. I'll take Arians all day. with any offensive player not named Chris Carson.
Well, can we do Pete Carroll on the next segment?
Yeah, we'll cover that in the next segment. All right,
Jimmy's very
Mike Evans still going to the second round. Mike Evans is set. Where he's gonna, he'll be fine there. I'm sure we all agree on that.
I think that's a little early.
How really?
Yeah.
I mean, who's he going after? You're not going to put him after Keenan Allen, are you?
Well,
Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper.
I don't think he's going to deliver the type of season where you'd be happy with taking him mid-second over Kerryon Johnson, Damian Williams, Mahomes. I think there's other better players there.
Right. Okay.
Kittle.
Players.
I think you'll get more production. You'll be happier with more production from other positions there than where Evans is going. Just my opinion.
And then O.J. Howard in the 5th round. I think we're fine there. That's he's actually the fourth. He's the 4th tight end off the board. So
can I say there's a big 4?
Go ahead. Big 4
at tight end.
You're saying O.J. Howard is moving into the 4?
I'm saying O.J. Howard belongs with the likes of Kittle and Ertz.
4. So you're saying it's not a big 3.
It's a big 4. Can I say it?
You can.
Is that crazy?
You put it on record.
All right.
I gotta say,
that's a tank take.
I like O.J. Howard, obviously, but I'm actually a little bit more excited about Hunter Henry finally being healthy and being the only tight end. Cameron Brate's still there. He makes a lot of money.
True.
And he's got, yes, you got Keenan.
Cameron Brate. It's like
you got Keenan and Mike Williams.
Go away.
Keenan, Mike Williams, Evans, and Godwin. And then you got Brayton. But I think that without Melvin Gordon, with some defensive issues, the safety on the Chargers, one of the best safeties in football, is gone now.
Right.
So they're going to throw the ball a lot. So I think Hunter Henry going a little bit later than O.J. Howard,
better value,
maybe return a little bit better
perhaps.
value. But I think
he's healthy now, but could be 1 weekend.
Well, Brian's very excited about this next guy.
Is it a brownie? It's a brownie?
Well,
brownie alert! Cleveland Brown alert!
There's something about a guy named Baker Mayfield. He had a pretty good game. In the next bit of news, so my boy Baker, I love you, Bake. Not his best game, obviously. But listen, it's the preseason. This doesn't count. And, they obviously weren't trying to show their cards. They were going all Cliff Kingsbury and,
They showed 7 deuce off suits, what they showed the other night.
Yeah. It was a bad preseason game. It was a bad third preseason game, which is supposed to be the dress rehearsal, so that's never good. The offensive line did look horrible. Baker clearly did not look very sharp. But what I mean, are you adjusting? Are you adjusting your rankings of any of the skill positions? Even as a Browns fan, I felt Baker has been overvalued this entire time, only because we haven't seen enough. I don't like the risk of. 4th quarterback off the board right now.
Yeah, it just blows my mind.
That to me, and again, it's not like 4th quarterback off the board, but because everybody's waiting, that makes them 8th, 9th round, that's 6th round. So absolutely, I didn't like having to take Baker there to begin with. So I don't really care what maybe that did to his 80.
When people take head cases like Odell Beckham, just remember when he is hurt, like he always is, or when he's in trouble, or when he's crying, he's not getting the ball. Just remember that you didn't need to take him. There's no reason to do it. There were people all around him that don't do that stuff.
Nobody forced you.
He's running around acting like a moron. There's just no reason to take him. There's too many mouths to feed anyway. Just pass on him. Make believe he's not there. Do yourself a favor. When he's picked, when you're up, just make believe the guy before you took him, and just move on. What's that?
I expect the ADPs to correct. I don't see how he keeps going.
But even look at all the running backs. There's just no reason to take him.
All right, so obviously, there's concern. We can move on. We can move on with the Browns. Hey, I got something better to talk about than the Browns. Jordan Reed.
I'll let you take this one. Enjoy.
This is easy. He's got a 7th concussion. He's probably had more. He needs to retire. The guy is, he's probably brain dead right now, and just for thinking about coming back, he's brain dead. So. The bottom line is Jordan Reed, we could make jokes and all, he's been hurt a million times besides concussions. He should retire. This is a serious thing. After 2 or 3 concussions, you're looking at major risk of serious problems. 7 is almost uncharted. I'm surprised the NFL doesn't have something where he's mandatory retirement. But Jordan, as long as you should have, he made some money. He should have millions of dollars. Just, dude, get out of there. Spend time with your family. You should not be. And anybody thinking about drafting you, they have brain damage too. So, get Jordan Reed. Put him in a home.
Brain damage.
And get him the hell out of the NFL.
I agree.
Before the guys drinking out of a straw. And
Jordan,
Jordan, you're awesome.
We know you have heart.
You got heart, unlike other people. I can't imagine if someone else had 7 concussions.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
So Jordan, retire. Have fun. Enjoy your retirement.
And the Saints look great. Thomas, Breeze, they look locked in, ready to go. Of course, Kamara's going to be, Kamara. Yep. So that team looks really scary. I would, certainly say a Super Bowl favorite. We talked earlier about David Johnson, where he's going. Another guy in that range is James Conner. So Conner, the other night with Big Ben on the field, Big Ben played 20 snaps. Conner was in for 15 of them, only 4 for Samuel. The other big news from that game, and we'll just cover both, it's the same team, is that Moncrief appears to be the clear-cut number 2, as far as he was in for most of the snaps that Big Ben was in there. James Washington, I don't think even got in until the backup was in. He made some nice plays. But so James Conner, Wap, you weren't a big fan of James Conner. Does this change anything for you? And then Frank the Tank, your thoughts in general on Conner, and then also, does Dante Moncrief mean anything to you?
I got you.
I'm warming up to Conner a little bit, as I am Mixon, just based on volume. There's so much volume for these guys. They're the clear-cut number 1s. Could Samuel spell him here and there? Yes.
Well, of course.
But will he be taking a huge chunk and forcing a 50-50, 60-40 committee? Probably not. Probably more like 75-25. So I'm not worried about Conner all that much. As far as Moncrief, last year Big Ben had number 1 in pass attempts. He loves to throw. He loves the no huddle. The new coach loves the no huddle. So it has to be more than just Juju. It can't be just Juju. Right. You can't lock into him. They'll just double him. They'll bang him with the line.
Yep.
So someone else has to emerge. Moncrief, stranger things have happened.
We're staying here on the bench, and we're waiting for the starting team to do their job. Does everybody understand?
Steelers are still all about Super Bowl. They're just because Bell's gone, but they still have a good team. They still have a great team, even with Brown gone. I think they still have Super Bowl aspirations. So if Moncrief's just the better fit, the better player for this year, I don't think they're going to have any problem letting Washington, play that third wide receiver role. And if Moncrief is, we've seen Moncrief play well, right?
Yeah, we have. He's been
stuck in some bad situations.
He's been a good touchdown kind of a guy.
So, we'll see.
So, you wanted me my thoughts on Conner. I had a lot of concern about him. This game really kind of he needed it. It was good for him. Kind of showed you that, he is a workhorse kind of a guy. Last year when he did step in, he was getting lots of catches and all the goal lines, and he was handling everything. And I think Samuel's got a lot of talk this offseason. I look at Samuels more as like a third down, change of pace type of guy. I've been reading that they're lining up all over the formation, out wide, in the slot. So I think they're going to utilize him a little more that way. And if Conner can stay healthy, I think people will probably be pleased with where they took.
He's got a lot of heart. This guy.
He's got a lot of heart. Yes. So, his preparation this year may have been a little different, being, the lead guy. So, Conner, if I'm picking near the end of the first round and I get 2 people like him and Cook or something,
Yeah, that's another.
It's not a bad, it's not a bad way to go.
Conner and Cook, a nice little.
Kenyon Drake, I will say this, doesn't have any heart.
Well, at least he didn't retire.
You jackass!
Well, they can't give him 10 carries. That's the problem.
He got hurt. He came back. He rehabbed. He's good. He's good.
But
he'll go again next year.
Balaj has had some opportunities in the preseason here. He's done nothing with it. Jimmy mentioned the
Balaj had 12 carries for 17 yards the other night.
That's
not too shabby.
Another team that you put next to everybody. The Washington Redskins.
Well, Trey Quinn.
No, not everybody.
Who?
Trey Quinn. AP.
Geis.
Hold on a second.
Chris Thompson. Darius Geis.
You got AP, Geis, and Chris Thompson behind a bad line, missing their all-pro Trent Williams, who's holding out the whole season, who's one of the best.
They're not as bad, but they're in the ballpark.
Because Drake and Balaj are, AP and Geis is that much different? Drake's a superior talent to any of them, in my opinion, except for maybe Geis.
No,
Geis and AP have them beat in the heart department by a lot.
A lot of heart.
Yeah, a lot of heart on those two.
Yeah, they should send some of that heart to Indianapolis.
I wish you could just shut your big yapper.
No quit. Jeez.
Any final players you want to discuss?
Yeah, well, listen, how about this? I'll say this. If you're in a dynasty league, Preston Williams. Go ahead. Why not? Take a shot on the unicorn. You know what I mean?
Can I save the guy for 5 seasons? Because that's probably how long it's going to be before Preston Wilson is
it Williams or Wilson?
Preston Williams, I think it is.
Williams,
I think you're right. Yeah. Is going to be on the radar.
Kid looks like a beast.
So it's like a dynasty league.
5 years. He's got to get through what? Kenny Stills and Devontae Parker. He might do it this year.
Well,
I'm saying if you're a dynasty,
that team needs
why not take him? You can take him, and he's not a bad dynasty pick possibly.
So So the Dolphins might build a team around Preston.
I just hope none of them retire. I just hope they all stick around.
Shut your mouth.
I think we're safe.
I feel like he's holding a grudge.
He might need to go talk to someone.
Yeah, he's got some things to work through. All right. Well, I think that just about does it. Frank the Tank, obviously, again, we want to thank you for joining us.
Frank, thank you. Thank you to be here.
Frank,
had a lot of fun.
You brought a lot of energy.
A lot of energy.
A lot of informative takes.
A lot of do not drafts.
A lot of do not drafts. A lot of hatred. A lot of anger. We appreciate that. We're almost at kickoff, right? I mean, probably not going to have a lot to talk about as far as these next preseason games. So we'll come. Yeah,
13 days till the Thursday opener.
We'll come back with some news. Anything big that hits, I'm sure somebody will get signed. Maybe
we'll wait for some news.
Maybe the Texans will sign a running back, or
maybe Luck will change his mind and find his heart.
Maybe he'll go to the Wizard of Oz and get a heart,
or maybe there will be a big signing.
Zeke, please sign so I can take Lamar with the 4.
All right. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
What's up, YouTube community? We hope you enjoyed the video you just watched. If you did, or if you didn't, please make sure to leave a like there at the bottom of the screen. Also, of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, make sure you tap on that bell to be notified of all the fresh content that the Two Bald A-Holes will be bringing you. We're going to be bringing you that fresh content, not just leading up to the start of the season. So we're going to help you out with your drafts and different things like that. But we're also going to be bringing you fresh content throughout the entire fantasy season. We're going to be launching our full show, which will be covering, obviously, game recaps. We're going to help you with start-sit advice. We're going to help you with waiver wire advice. We're going to be taking your questions. We're going to help to analyze your trades, different things like that. So you're not going to want to miss any of that. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tap on that button. You can also follow us on Twitter. And, of course, most importantly, remember, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from the Bald Army. You don't have to be bald to be part of the Bald Army, but all bald people will receive special treatment, of course. But we do want to hear from you. We want to know your thoughts. Did you agree with what you heard? Did you disagree with what you might have heard in one of our segments? We want to know, or maybe you just want to throw some general insults our way.
Are you about to call me an asshole?
Doesn't matter. We love it. We want to hear it all. So please make sure to share your thoughts in the comment section. And we look forward to seeing you again real soon.